I will start maybe with the question about competition between different forms of agriculture in Europe. In my opinion, but it's difficult to answer to this question, but this is the diversity of agriculture, so different forms of agriculture in Europe is something positive. I don't know if your question refers to the fact that we will at the same time probably promote organic farming, other kind of quality schemes, maybe some innovative types of farming.
Yeah, and another question was related to that was what is meant by quality food? And also the definition of sustainability, which is very vague also.
Okay. Quality is something quite wide. In Europe we have at European level regulation of quality schemes which includes protected designations of origin, protected geographical indications. We have some reserved terms like mountain products, islands also, island products. And this is not closed because we have also national quality schemes, private quality schemes. So depending on the classification of the scheme, there might be some support, public support, European support, but there are some conditions always for the support.
I would like to answer to the farmer about olive oil and the market. We fight, the word is right I think, with the Commission to have some very good data for organic market. One of the solutions that we ask since many years with our member states, France for example, and other member states, is to have custom codes with a precise definition of each organic production that flow between one member state and other member states, and also between Europe and foreign countries. If we do not have those tools, we can't manage the market and we can't have a good control of the flow of the raw material, because the main problems of certification, as we could see, for example, in Italy, are coming from the marketing and the flow of raw material like grain, like olive oil, and in big conditionment, and we could not focus on it. So we need to have tools to focus on it, and also to control, and also to manage the market. And all the organic organization of producers need those data.
Up to the bottom. Up to the bottom. To write some analysis.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'll start with the question if food sovereignty could be used to have GMOs in Europe, if it could be defined totally differently. Of course, food sovereignty is a framework, it's a concept, but when I introduced the pillars, the 6 pillars, one of the pillars is it works with nature, which means it works sustainably. Of course, sustainability, it's a word, it's used everywhere, and there's always a definition. But one of the other pillars, it focuses on the people, and as we know, for example, most of the people in Europe do not want to eat food which is produced using GMOs. But because of some treaties we always would like to sign, because of some obligations by being member of the WTO and so on, we cannot close our borders against products we do not want. And this is one of the things we are working on, that people have to decide what they want to eat. And people have to have cooperation, for example, with farmers. And that's why we do not say we only want organic agriculture, because we know that many farms are producing in a sustainable manner, but they do not have the possibility to get certification, because for some of them it costs too much money, it's too complicated, or they have to change some way in production, which is not possible. But for example, when using the so-called participatory guarantee systems, these are systems which are certification by the people who eat the products, not by some control institution. And these are, of course, these are only small initiatives now, but they are growing. And we have them in France, we have them in other countries where they are growing, and where people say, we are going to make some agreements with our producers. We don't need some authority, some institution controlling the production of the farmer. But these are paths. This is only, this is work in progress, for example, for sure. And the second question, which was for everyone, if organic agriculture can feed the planet. Of course it can. There are a lot of studies that organic agriculture can feed the planet, but then we have to know and to admit and to make sure that we know that not everyone can eat as we do, and that we have to stop eating as we do. We cannot consume so much meat and dairy products. The planet cannot sustain this, neither using organic agriculture nor using conventional agriculture. It's not possible. We cannot produce so much meat for everyone as we consume it. We have to stop eating so much meat. That's for sure. In my organization, there are a lot of dairy farmers. They don't like to hear this, but they know it. They work for it. You know, my board, it's dairy farmers, lots of them, but they know it. It's good to consume some dairy products or meat, but not the amount we have. And we have to change this. And if you look at, there are a lot of studies that say organic farming can have higher yields, especially in areas where the production level is, where the soil is not so good. No, in the really favorable areas where the soil is really good and you can produce a lot, then it's difficult for organic agriculture to have higher yields than with chemistry or with NPK or fertilizers. But especially in areas where we have problems to produce enough food, organic agriculture produces more. And these are the areas where we need to raise productivity. We do not need to raise productivity in Europe. Do we want to have cows which give, I don't know, 60 liters per day or 70 liters, whereas sometimes it has to stop. You know, we do not need more productivity in Europe. And the last question, very shortly, integrated farming, for me, no. Because I don't know how it works in other countries in Europe, but in Austria, integrated IP farming, it's using all the chemistry products which is on the market. So for us it's no difference. It's just the difference is that taxpayers have to support this kind of farming, especially in wine production, in vegetable production, in fruit production. They use every poison which is on the market. So for me, no, it cannot be.
Yes. Come back to the question about competition between different forms of agriculture across Europe. I believe we shall look beyond the celebration of sorry for you, beyond the celebration of the diversity of agriculture across Europe, because indeed, if we have a look to the rural development programs, Pillar 2 of the CEP, we already know that there is indeed a competition for money regarding the different programs, the different measures. And for instance, some colleagues from the high natural value farming organizations, like EFNCP, have shown that the majority of measures provided by the rural development policy are mainly targeted towards mainstream agriculture agriculture or modernization of farm holdings, of livestock holdings, etc., etc. And in the end, we don't have enough money to fund the key measures to accompany the transitions towards more agroecological systems. So it's a reality in terms of spending money. But at this level, it's up to the member states, it's up to the regional authorities to choose. So it's important to inform people before about these possibilities, but also how to address these challenges. And regarding the second question about organic farming, and I agree with Elisa's answer, but in itself we cannot reply only from the production side. We have to take into account the consumer and the consumption side. Indeed, we could certainly feed the world with organic production, but I will give you an example, just an example. Some studies from the US, recent studies this year, have shown that for certain sectors, including livestock sector, ruminant animals, with this kind of animals, we could feed extra millions of people if we could save the grains used to feed ruminant and to replace these grains with grass, something like that. So we have key examples to save and to improve the efficiency, of feedstock in order to improve the human food security as a whole.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Θα αλλάξω. Θέλεις κάτι σύντομο, ναι, σύντομο.
Πάρε το κουμπί μπροστά σου.
Το κουμπί το πρώτο.
Ναι. Θα ήθελα να ρωτήσω σε ποια φάση βρίσκεται η επιδότηση για τα βιολογικά προϊόντα και από ποια κράτη-μέλη έχει γίνει μια υιοθέτηση των όρων των επιδοτήσεων για αυτά. Ευχαριστώ.
If you mean about the new rural development programs, they are not yet adopted. For the past?
Ναι. Για τα παρελθόντα και για τα παρελθόντα.
Sorry, I don't have with me the amount of subsidies that were allocated to organic farming in the past. I would have to ask my colleagues if we keep in touch, I will tell you.
Ωραία. Θα συγκεντρώσουμε τα στοιχεία και θα σας στείλουμε. Νομίζω ότι μπορούν να βρεθούν. Παρακαλώ τους επόμενους ομιλητές να